before the levels. Close your eyes. Feel your hands. Now imagine you haven't cut your fingernails since 1997. That's not a number. That's a life sentence. 25 years of growth. 10 nails. 42 feet. 10 inches of keratin. Longer than a school bus. Thicker than a golf club shaft. Smooth like a carrot. Heavy like regret. You are Diana Armstrong, and you didn't set out to break a world record. You set out to keep a promise to a dead girl. Here's what that cost you. Level 1. The last Saturday. Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is an ordinary Saturday. Your daughter Latisha, 16 years old, full of color, is doing your nails. She does this every weekend. Has for years. It's your thing. Mother and daughter, nail polish and conversation. The kind of ritual that seems small until it disappears. She files, she polishes, she talks. You don't remember exactly what she said that day. You will spend the next 25 years trying to. The nails dry. She puts the cap back on the bottle. She goes to her room. That night, she has trouble breathing. You take her to the doctor. Asthma. She's always had it. Like you. The doctor gives her medicine. Sends you both home. The next morning, you go to wake her. She doesn't. Latisha Armstrong. 16 years old. Asthma attack in her sleep. Gone. And the last thing she ever touched, the last thing her hands ever worked on, is still drying on your fingers. Level 2. The decision that wasn't a decision. You don't make a plan. There is no moment of resolve. No vow spoken aloud. No dramatic gesture. You simply cannot cut them. Every time the thought crosses your mind, every time you reach for the scissors, every time someone suggests it, something happens in your chest. Like the grief is stored there, in the keratin, in the color she chose. Cut the nails, lose the last thing she touched. So you don't. You tell no one why. Not your other children. Not your family. Not the neighbors who start to stare. You keep it inside. The way grief works when you're too proud to show it and too broken to hide it. The nails grow. A centimeter, then an inch, then a foot. And you are already somewhere you can't come back from. You just don't know it yet. Level 3. The isolation begins. 2 years after Latisha's death, the nails are now long enough to notice. Not record-breaking. Not extraordinary. Just long. Strange. Impossible to explain without explaining everything else. So you don't explain. You stop going to certain places. Grocery stores when it's crowded. Social events. Anywhere the stares collect into something that feels like judgment. People look at your hands before they look at your face. You learn to hold your hands near your chin when you stand, nails pointing down, out of sight. When you sit, you cross them across your lap like something you're protecting. The depression settles in. Not loudly, quietly. The kind that makes the day feel like something to be survived rather than lived. You don't tell anyone you're depressed. When you finally go to therapy, a decade later, you tell people it's a regular doctor's visit. Shame on top of grief. Grief underneath shame. And the nails growing through all of it. Silently. Daily. One cell at a time. Level 4. The body adapts. 5 years in. You have learned to live in a body that no longer works the way bodies are supposed to. Picking something off the floor, you use your toes. Handling money, you curl your fingers and scoop. Sleeping, one hand above your head, the other to the side. Every night, the same position, because there is no other position. Eating, an extra long fork. Always. Your family stops noticing. She's normal to us, your daughter Rania will say years later. Normal. That word. Because this is what long-term grief does. It normalizes itself. The people who love you stop seeing the weight you're carrying because you've been carrying it for so long. It just looks like you now. The nails are filed with a power tool. Painting one nail takes 5 hours and more than a full bottle of polish. Your grandchildren take 2 to 4 days to paint all 10. You clean up after them using your feet. This is your life. Level 5. The point of no return. 10 years in. The nails are now several feet long. Here is where it becomes permanent. Not just physically, though it is physical. The nails are now structural. They have changed how your muscles hold your hands, how your posture distributes weight, how you navigate every room you enter. But the permanence is deeper than bone and posture. You realize, sometime around year 10, that cutting the nails now would not just be grief, it would be erasure. 25 years of growth. 25 years of Latisha's last touch preserved in keratin, painted over and over by grandchildren who never knew her, extended outward into a world that doesn't understand why. To cut them now would be to admit that time has passed, that she is gone, that you have to let go. You can't. You never said this out loud. You still haven't. But your hands say it every day. No way out. Not anymore. Level 6. The world sees a spectacle. Minneapolis. The streets. You stop leaving the house for long periods. Not because you can't, because people stop seeing Diana Armstrong. They see the nails. I've been called disgusting. you will say, years later. Flat. Matter of fact. Like a fact that stopped hurting only because you ran out of places to put the hurt. You create meeting points for interviews, neutral locations, because you don't want strangers knowing where you live. You stop eating at restaurants. You stop going to salons, haven't been in over 20 years. Takeout only, delivery only, home only. The nails were supposed to keep Latisha close. What they also did, what you didn't plan, couldn't have planned, was build a wall between you and the world. A beautiful, colorful 42-foot wall, and you live inside it. Level 7. The secret breaks open. 2022. A knock at the door. A Guinness World Records representative. Your family had suspected for years. They'd compared your nails to the record books. Done the math, said quietly among themselves, she has it. You never applied, never called, never sought it. But someone made the call for you. The representative measures 10 nails, 1 by 1, 1,306.58 centimeters, 42 feet, 10 inches. Not just the record for longest nails on a living woman, the longest fingernails on a pair of hands ever recorded in human history. The previous record, 28 feet. You more than doubled it. And when they hand you the certificate, the gold-bordered Guinness document, official and permanent, something happens in your face. Not pride, not triumph. Something softer, something that has been waiting 25 years for a place to land. I think Tisha would be proud of me, you say, because she's the last one who did my nails. That's who I think of. That's always who I think of. Level 8. The Reckoning. Here is what the record certificate does not mention. 25 years of depression, managed quietly, medicated secretly, never spoken aloud until it had to be. 25 years of isolation, of grocery stores avoided, of events declined, of a social world that shrank with every inch of growth. 25 years of grandchildren learning to paint around something they don't fully understand. 25 years of sleeping in the same position, every night, hands positioned to accommodate something that started as a gesture of love and became the architecture of a life. You are not a cautionary tale. You are a woman who found the only way she knew how to survive the unsurvivable, and survived it. But here is the honest thing, the thing the record books leave out. Grief that has no exit becomes a structure. You live inside it. You decorate it. You learn its dimensions, but it is still a structure. And structures, no matter how beautifully maintained, are not the same as freedom. Level 9. The Final Reckoning. Minneapolis, today. You are Diana Armstrong. You cook buffalo fish and spaghetti. You love your grandchildren. You sweep the floor with your feet after they make a mess. You never say goodbye, only toodaloo, because goodbye is too permanent. Your nails touch the ground when you stand. Every morning you wake up, position your hands, and begin again. The record is yours. The grief is still yours too. But something has changed, slowly. In the years since Guinness came to the door, the family has started talking about Latisha. Not in the hushed way, not in the way that skirts around what happened, but directly, openly. The nails as a beginning of a conversation, rather than the ending of one. It is becoming easier, your daughter Raina says, to speak about the loss, to shift the nails from an expression of grief to an expression of love, from grief to love. That's the whole story. 25 years, 42 feet, one record, and a shift so small it's almost invisible. From grief to love. Philosophical reflection. Here is the question underneath all of this. What do you do when the thing that kept you alive also kept you trapped? Diana Armstrong didn't grow 42 feet of nails for fame. She grew them because cutting them felt like losing her daughter twice. The record came to her. She didn't go to it. And that's the detail that separates this story from every other story in this space. Most records are chased. This one was a side effect of standing still in grief long enough for the world to catch up. The record will eventually be broken. Some other set of hands, some other story, some other reason. But Latisha Armstrong, 16 years old, asthma attack in her sleep, last act on earth, painting her mother's nails, will be in the record books forever, because her mother couldn't let go. And didn't. The question I'll leave you with, is there something you've been holding on to, not because it's practical, not because the world understands it, but because letting go feels like losing someone twice? Diana Armstrong says, hold on. The world will call it crazy, hold on anyway. Subscribe. Every week, one record, one person, one story underneath the number. We'll see you in the next one.